Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I have been uploading videos, and for my followers, sorry about that. Had some changes in my personal life, specifically with work, that just kind of took up a lot of my time over the past couple of months. So I had to put my Saturday morning vibe checks and weekly videos on hold for a minute while I sort of acclimated to my updated role and position in my day-to-day work. So anyway, feeling a little bit more comfortable in that front in my life. And you know what? Just kind of like woke up this morning and was really vibing. I really felt like now was the time to get a new video posted and connect with you all because I've missed you. So today's video, very much aligned to my own personal life, is going to be focused on our careers. So if you're someone who feels like you're at a crossroads in life, particularly when it comes to your career or your work responsibilities, this video is probably going to be a good fit for you. Also if you're just kind of curious, like what's next in your career, this would be a good fit for you. We're going to be taking just a look at like what's next, right? So like what's next, what's happening in your career. It could be, I'm not really trying to put any specific timing around it, but I do have some handwritten cards that we'll get into at the end of each pile. So that'll just give us sort of like an idea around like timing of like when some of these next steps will happen in your career, or just whenever some of these messages that are going to come through today like come to life. So I'm really excited. As usual, we have 3 piles to choose from with 3 gorgeous heart-shaped crystals that I was, again, just kind of like really drawn to this morning. I'm also going to be using my new, well, not mine. I mean, I purchased it, so I guess I own it, but it's not my actual deck. But I did get a new Oracle deck called the Citadel Oracle cards. So I'm very excited to read those messages today. Because it is new, I'll probably be referencing the guidebook. Just because I haven't really had a chance to like study it, but I was really excited to use it for today's video. So we'll get into those cards. We obviously have our tarot messages and some Moonology Oracle cards as well. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the piles. I will say if you already are drawn to a specific pile, the timestamps are linked below in the description box. So feel free to head over to that pile and I'll see you over there. If you're new to Pick a Card readings, basically what you're going to want to do is, you may have come here because you felt super drawn to one specific pile or one specific stone. If that's the case, follow your intuition and your inner voice. And like I said, the timestamps are linked in the description box. But if you're not drawn to a specific pile, I welcome you to pause the video and meditate on the piles, take a few deep breaths and really try and listen to that inner guidance and that inner voice and telling you which pile it is that you need to listen to today. If you're drawn to multiple piles, that is completely normal. You are not weird. It happens. Like, girl, I got you. It happens. But it's just important to really, I think, listen to that inner voice. So if you are drawn to 2 piles, you might be hearing inside like pile 2 and 3 or whatever. Watch both of those videos. It's completely normal. There might be a message in both for you or all of them if you're so inclined. There might be a message across all 3 piles that is for you. As always, keep in mind this is a general reading, so there's a lot of people watching the video. I pulled the cards with that intention. So definitely take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you're hearing something that, feels like it doesn't really make sense to you, but the rest of the pile does, like just leave that little bit out. Don't take it, as like gospel, I guess you can say. Really this is just meant to help guide you on your journey and help you understand, where you're at in your career or, what exciting next steps are ahead of you. So anyway, let me introduce you to the pile 1, which is Blue Aventurine Crystal. We have pile 2. I forgot these. It's been like 2 months since I've been filming. I forgot these crystals like spin the second I put them down. Pile 2 is the white turquoise. Super cool. And then pile 3, if I can get pile 2 to stop spinning. Pile 3 is Tiger Eye, which you can't really see in the video. I apologize, but it is Tiger Eye, I should say. Maybe you can see it there. Yeah, so those are our 3 piles to choose from today. Like I said, if you're having trouble choosing a pile, feel free to pause the video and meditate. And again, really lean on your inner voice and your inner guidance to choose which pile you are most drawn to. Anyway, I'm really excited to dive right in. Let's talk about careers. What's next? What's happening? What do you need to know right now? And I'll see you over there. Bye. Okay, hey there, pile 1. If you chose the blue aventurine crystal, then this is your reading today. I'll put the crystal here so that it's visible. Okay, so we have a lot of cards to get into today. Like I said, I have a brand new Oracle deck, which I think I'm going to get into first, just to kind of get some messages around, maybe like who we are, just some like guidance when it comes to thinking about your career. Maybe what's going on right now, maybe like I said, like a little bit of like who you are and your personality. So I'm excited to get into these. And like I said, I'm going to be reading from the guidebook just because I haven't had time to really study them yet. Then we'll hop into your tarot cards, and then we'll get some final confirmation messages with our Moonology Oracle deck. And then I do have handwritten timing cards as well. So if there are any changes or next steps in your career, we can get a sense of timing on that. Okay, so I have the guidebook. We are ready to go. I love these cards. I think they're so cool. So I'm excited for you to see them as well. Okay, so pile 1. Let's get started with your Citadel Oracle cards today. What are pile 1's next steps, or what do they need to know for what's happening next in their career? So first off, you have the Gambler, loss and risks. Then you have the Aspirant, ambition, diligence, and setbacks. Interesting. Then you have the Miser, stubbornness and inflexibility. And then finally, you have the Pilgrim, opportunities and growth. So off the bat, even though I'm not necessarily like just aware of like the meaning of each card, and I'll get into that in a minute, but as I'm like looking for these individual cards in the guidebook, I just want to say I think it's interesting how you have almost like some setbacks and then some stubbornness, but there are some opportunities for like a learning lesson. So maybe if pile 1, like right now you're here watching this video today because maybe you've, recently lost your job, or you're currently facing some setbacks in your career, or you feel like, maybe like your current role is like stunting you in a sense. I wonder if there's some like self-reflection that you can do on maybe like the energy that you're bringing into your career right now, or like your work responsibilities. Obviously, I'm not trying to say like it's you're the problem, but immediately I just kind of got that sense where like I think this is like a good like learning period for you of like, like there's opportunities for growth in our own awareness sort of. So I wonder if like maybe there's some like I said, like some loss or like some setbacks happening, or maybe you feel like there's setbacks happening in your career, or like maybe for some of you, you were up for promotion and like that went to somebody else, and you just kind of feel like why isn't this happening for me? I've been trying so hard. That's the kind of like feeling that I get. It's like someone who is like trying really, really hard and like not getting the expected like output from the universe, right? So it's like, even if you're like applying for jobs like crazy, right? And you're like, I am literally like the most qualified person for all of these positions, and all you get back in your email are like, sorry, we've decided to go with another candidate. And it's like, well, what about me? So it's the kind of like feeling that I'm getting. And I think really what these cards are suggesting to me, and obviously I'm going to get to their meanings in a minute, but I feel like right now is an opportunity for you to maybe like sit in sort of like your own self-awareness and maybe really look at your own energy and say like, okay, what is it that I'm bringing to the table when it comes to whatever it is that you're looking for next in your career? I do get the sense, and we'll get into this in a minute, obviously, but I do get the sense that for some of you, you're looking for either a leveling up in your career, so like a promotion, or you experienced some setbacks, or maybe like, unfortunately you were impacted by the layoffs in tech that have been happening over the past year or so, and you're just like not seeing the return on your investment when it comes to applying for new positions. So let's try and find, I was gabbing away, so I did not find the cards, the individual card meanings here, but I do want to read them for you. So it might take me just a minute here to find them, because this guidebook is huge. There's like over 150 cards. Let's see, the gambler, 92. Okay, the gambler. Whatever obstacle you keep encountering, doing the same thing over again clearly isn't working. Stop gambling on the hope that things will change. Instead, change your habits or your approach if you want to make any progress. So that's really interesting. Like I said, I don't really know the cards that well, actually, well at all. I have not studied each one individually, but I think that does definitely align with what I was just saying about like, you know, like I get the sense like someone is out there like really, really trying, and it's like, yeah, it's sort of like doing that same thing over again where you're just like applying for maybe like the same role over and over again, and you're just like not hearing back even though you're like overly qualified for some of these positions. So maybe it's like a different approach that you need to take. And I think that maybe it's like stepping outside of your comfort zone with the pilgrim, you know, for opportunities and growth. But I think there's some like inner work that you need to sort of like do right now on yourself. And I think you're going to start to see some benefits from that. And I think it could come from like stepping outside of your comfort zone. Like maybe you've been applying for jobs like on a specific job site, you know, and like you're just like not hearing back. So maybe but you're really comfortable with that site. You've had good luck with it in the past, but I think, you know, maybe like your luck has run up there. So maybe it's time to kind of like start in-person networking or like going to like networking events or start reaching out to people individually, or like, you know, sometimes recruiters like will reach out to you and maybe you haven't been responding to them because you feel like it's spam. So I think the idea here is like, you know, step outside of your comfort zone a bit. And I think you'll start to see some benefits from that. And I think that will also help you grow as well. So going into the aspirants, so ambition, diligence, and setbacks. So this is kind of interesting as I read this. Don't let yourself fall into the same trap. Take a moment to reassess where you are right now so that you don't stumble when something goes wrong. Half the battle is won when you accept that you will face problems along the way, but whatever hurdles you encounter, know that they can be overcome. So yeah, I actually love that because I think, like I said, I think it's more about like obviously there's setbacks happening for pile one, and you know I kind of can sense the frustration, but I think it's like staying like the message here is really like about like that, like everything can be overcome. Like this isn't going to be permanent in your life. This maybe is just a season of your life, you know, and I think it's time to kind of like see the situation for what it is, maybe have your own sort of like awareness and take some responsibility there for like your own actions or your own energy. And I think it's really like about like just kind of seeing the bigger picture, right? So like if you are experiencing this like frustration or these setbacks or whatever, you know, see the bigger picture. Like in 5 years, will any of this matter? You know, I think that there's a lot to be overcome here, and with opportunities and growth, I think that's really, really present for me. It's just like looking at your cards. Okay, so the miser, stubbornness and flexibility. Deep inside, there is a miser in all of us. Rather than let yourself become consumed with selfishness and the inability to admit your mistakes, exercise some empathy and put yourself in someone else's shoes. That difficult situation has two sides to it. Look at it from the other side, and you'll find a happy compromise to be made. I mean, yeah, maybe this is a message for those of you who maybe were expecting a certain promotion, and maybe there's been, you know, not trying to, you know, throw shade at anyone here. I definitely have gone through this and have done this where I'm like, well, it's everyone else's fault, you know? And it's like, well, actually, let me take a look at myself, or like maybe like put myself in their shoes, kind of like as the card is suggesting. And it's sort of like, look at like the bigger picture, I think, right? Where it's like, okay, so I didn't get this. I didn't get the expected, you know, output from what I've been putting into this. You know, like what have I contributed that maybe, you know, set me back, or what it, you know, how was that person, maybe like how was your manager sort of like perceiving the situation, if you are in that situation where you were expecting like a promotion or something like that. Or maybe, you know, you really got to a certain point with like a specific company in interviews and you really thought you had it, and they were like, sorry, we actually went with another candidate, you know. And I've also experienced this where I was like, oh, like, you know, just like blaming the other people. I'm like, it's their fault. They just went with the easy choice. That sounds really selfish. But you know what I mean? I think it's like, it's easy to like pass blame for things that like, you know, like I'm not trying to say like take ownership of all of the reasons why you're not seeing the results that you want. But again, going back to like that awareness, and like maybe it is a little bit of like, what is it that you are putting out there? Like, I feel like this reading is for me. Like I'm like speaking to myself as I'm like saying this. I hope this isn't coming off too strong. But I think it really is. I think it's like really taking accountability for yourself. And, you know, if you're looking for new jobs, like, are you stepping outside of your comfort zone? things like that. Like, obviously trying hard enough is without question, like you absolutely are, but are you being patient enough? Like things like that. Like, what are you contributing energetically that maybe are contributing to like